The first Resident Evil game has always been known as a game that pretty much redefined survival horror games, which during that time was brand new at the time. So, for Resident Evil, it was originally released in 1996 on the PS1, PC, and also a year later on the Sega Saturn, before then getting a director's cut version. There was also a DualShock version of a director's cut version in '98, but arguably a lot of people have stated that that version had the worst music. I don't know what happened with the music in that version, but that's something that's always been well known by the community. Fast forward, it would receive another port for the Nintendo DS as Deadly Silence in 2006. Maybe I'll cover that one as terms in a separate video because that one has its own features for another time. Resident Evil takes you into a mansion where your objective is to survive from zombies, zombie dogs, monsters, and more. What you'll need to do is that you have to go around the mansion finding ammo, weapons, keys, and puzzle items, and then you have to get out of there with your friends, and that's pretty much it. There are two different scenarios in the game. You play as Chris or Jill. Both of them have their own altercations of experience. Chris, on the other hand, has at least 6 items in inventory and Jill has 8. She has a lockpick. Chris has a lighter. And yeah, that's basically one of the biggest differences out there. She can carry a little bit more items and she can get a shotgun pretty early in the game. And I mean pretty early in the game, and you probably know what I mean. This game was highly criticized for its terrible voice acting, which later was given a remake as a GameCube exclusive at the time. Despite some of the criticisms, the game would sell well for it to have a sequel on multiple platforms. And then of course we got a third game, spin-offs, and well, the rest is history, with a bunch of 4 different remakes. Yeah, 4 of them. I'm not making this up. So yeah, the terms of the game is that it has a bunch of different endings depending on what you do or perhaps who you rescue. But you want to get a good ending for the best experience. But that's where both characters have their own differences in terms of experiences. Considering that Jill has a lockpick, she can easily open some doors, but Chris on the other hand has to get some old keys and he has to be wise about what he has to do in order to open doors. Because once you open that thing and then you get, if it's like a nothing in there, then I don't know, there's nothing you can do about it. There's herbs which can heal you, first aid sprays. The blue ones of the herbs can pretty much cure you from poison. I also should mention you can combine items like herbs that can give you additional healing if you combine enough of them. And what I mean is that you can combine green to red, green to green, and green to blue, or maybe you can mix up the 3 together into one and that's it. But I'll just say again, the blue are only for poison effect. The rest of them can be for health. No, you cannot use the red ones to heal alone, as you need to combine the green herbs in order to do that. So you go explore the mansion, find some clues or something like that. Like, I wouldn't say exactly clues, but you need some sort of puzzle items in order to solve them. Like, some puzzles require an item, and some puzzles require you to move certain things to a different place. But those are the only examples there are for the game to have offered. So, I'll just say this. You need ink ribbons to save. You need ammo for your weapons, depending on the type you need, so that way you can survive. But you're going to want to also make sure that you save the ammo, because if you keep wasting on random enemies, it's not going to do you any favors, which is why there's a knife for melee weapon. It's not perfect, but it can pretty much be affected the way you can pretty much save ammo, and you don't have to worry about anything else. If you ever need to supply some of your items, then you don't have to really worry about anything else, because this is the game that has the item boxes, all just for you. You can find them any of the places that have a save house. How you know? Well, you hear the save music, you'll have a typewriter and a storage box. And some save houses can actually, or at least safe rooms, I should say, can actually give you certain items that are laying around the place, which is pretty useful. Again, if you need room for something, you can always just stick it in the box, get it later for certain things, and you're all set. But if you guys are done using keys or key items, then you could pretty much just toss them away with no problem. I know I say you need ink ribbons to save, and to do that you need to find a typewriter, but here's something you should know. If you ran out of ink ribbons, then you've done goofed. Don't constantly save. Save every once in a while when you know for a fact that you can pretty much know what you're doing. If you know what you're doing, you just do it. But if you happen to be stranded with no ink ribbons, then you did it to yourself, basically. And with no ink ribbons, you can't save the game, and you have to keep going. And if you mess up, the game's over, and you have to start back wherever you came from. Although, if you feel like you messed up, you can make a separate save if you really want to. I will give you some tips too. Don't use the other weapons just for random enemies to attack them. But, if you use a shotgun and you aim up, you can one-shot the zombie and his head will blow up, and you're all said and done. This can actually be pretty well, and you can conserve some of your pistol ammo for later. But I don't recommend doing it all the time, because there are boss fights, which you should really keep them to be safe. Although there is a grenade launcher with different types of ammo that you guys can pretty much use against them, like against this big giant poisonous snake for an example. So you use keys, solve puzzles, conserve ammo, protect yourself from the infected, and you're set to go with everything you need to know about the game. It uses tank controls, which I get. Apparently the modern universe or something are not a big fan of this, and I pretty much think it's funny because I seen Alone in the Dark 2 on PlayStation 5 given like mixed reception, mostly 1 stars, all because of tank controls. I say I would just get good at the game and just try to play this. It's available at GOG for anyone who has a GOG account on Windows and whatever too. This is the version you're seeing here, as it plays in 4K resolution with controller support. If you guys ever want to play this on PlayStation systems, if you guys have like a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, you can also play this game on there as well. For some reason, it was only accessible in the PlayStation Plus Premium, but they have since taken off the exclusivity of the Premium, and now for anyone who doesn't have Premium, you can just play it now, and it's pretty cheap to get. So anyways, I think you'll have a great experience, and you can pretty much follow along with the rest of the trilogy if you haven't already played it. Oh, and I'm talking about the original trilogy, not the remake one to be specific here.